that's unfair because airport security already sucks, and that's not Democrats' fault. That's TSA's fault. First up, Attorney General Pam Bondi announced that following outreach from the Justice Department, Facebook has agreed to remove posts with content that the administration doesn't like. That, to me, sounds like what Biden did with COVID misinformation, but it's not hypocritical. That's not hypocritical at all. These are just two instances of an administration pressuring Meta and Meta agreeing to remove content that the administration doesn't like. Totally fine. I mean, wasn't MAGA like big mad about Biden doing that? And then just sort of, well, yeah, that's what Bondi does. We're standing up for MAGA. I mean, on top of being wildly hypocritical, obviously, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, so those two seem like similar versions of the same thing, but just for the sake of discussion, let's compare them. So if you have a post that doxes and targets an ICE agent, that's unfortunate if it affects innocent people, but that's a post that reflects and affects a single person and the people around them. A post with COVID misinformation that promotes fake preventives and fake cures, that affects everybody who sees it and believes it and follows it. And so that could potentially have an impact on a huge number of people and their families and the people around them. Say you've got a post that doxes and targets ICE agents, but if the ICE agent has to be a witness in a case, the Constitution gives the defendant the right to know the identities of the witnesses, including the cops. So the cops have to show their identity at some point in public criminal proceedings or public proceedings of some kind in which the Constitution is going to require them to identify themselves in most cases. So the whole thing with masks and doxing is just a huge theater. That's all. Ironically, the Meta spokesman confirmed that the posts were taken down, the supposedly doxing and targeting ICE agent posts were taken down for violating Facebook's policies against coordinated harm. I mean, that, again, sounds like a reasonable justification for why Facebook took down COVID misinformation posts. But not at all hypocritical, you guys. Not at all hypocritical, wildly hypocritical for them to do this. Next, Kristi Noem wants to run ads in airports that every traveler would be forced to see that blame the shutdown on Democrats and blame operational impacts on Democrats. So first of all, that's unfair because airport security already sucks, and that's not Democrats' fault. That's TSA's fault. TSA sucks at what it does and has for a long time, and you shouldn't blame that on Democrats. On top of the fact that doing it is illegal. More than a dozen airports have said that they're not going to run it either because of state or local laws or because they're following the Federal Hatch Act. It's been around since 1939, that conservatives used to scream and cry and wail about how Democrats were constantly breaking the law. What law? The Hatch Act. And then Trump comes into town, and it's partisan ads in airports. It's partisan pop-ups on federal websites. It's just partisanship all the way down. Again, not at all hypocritical. Not at all completely hypocritical, guys. Next, the State Department confirms that visas have been revoked for several people based solely on posts, social media posts, and speech that they made about Charlie Kirk. Now, all political violence is wrong, it's immoral, and it's illegal. But speech about political violence or speech about politics is not illegal. And the idea that the State Department, the government, is going to use the content of someone's speech that they don't like as a justification for revoking someone's visa is insane. I'm taken back to Evelyn Beatrice Hall's 1906 quote, "I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it." This follows a Department of Defense investigation in which hundreds of employees have been investigated because of online comments that they made about someone that the administration really likes. Obviously, Pete Hegseth is a huge hypocrite about this. He was grinning and joking about political violence against someone he doesn't like, Paul Pelosi. But now he's cracking down on speech that makes him feel feelings about someone he did like. That's un-American. It's unconstitutional. And again, the Constitution lets people have incredibly vile views. The Constitution lets you advocate for things that are terrible, lets you hold positions that are disgusting. A lot of this shit is stuff I wouldn't say. These are just the kinds of things someone would say if they hate someone, which is often vile and disgusting and stuff we wouldn't say, but also protected by the Constitution. This was supposed to be the free speech administration. Remember, it was comedy is legal now. And anytime someone would complain and get offended, they would say, oh, it was a joke. You can't take a joke. But the problem here is that now they're in charge of the government and they're using state power to go after people based upon speech they don't like. And where are conservatives on this one? Again, not at all hypocritical, guys. Not at all completely wildly hypocritical. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching. I'm Chris with How to Politics.